Hey there, this is Strider from Strider Tree Gear. Thank you for joining us. Today I'm reviewing the ISC rigging wrench. I also call it the singing tree rigging wrench depending on where you pick it up. It's a really handy little rigging device for light to medium duty rigging. Around where I live, I rig a lot of small black oaks, live oaks, some birch trees, a lot of fairly small trees. And frequently when I'm doing clearance for fire, we've got a tree with a limb out over a roof. And it's nice to be able to, even if it's only 100, maybe 200-pound limb, to be able to tip tie it, use a pulley to lift it up a little bit, and then swing it off to the side from the ground. And it's usually they're small trees. I don't want to set up a GRCS. I don't want to pull out my big 5-to-1 rigging system. But I also don't want to put 3 guys on the rope and have them all hold on to it as the branch breaks free and goes sliding. So this is a really handy device, and it works well for a lot of those types of scenarios. So the way this thing works is that on the running side of this rope goes through a pulley. Now in this particular one, this is the 120. This one's rated for more weight because right here is a one-directional pulley, and you can see the hand indicates that this is the side you pull on, and then this indicates the side where it locks. So if you route the rope through here properly and you tie off this end to the branch, now what I can do, the groundies can apply a lot of force through that pulley because it's a fairly efficient pulley. But when the branch lets go and when there's weight loaded, the rope wrench kinks through the rope here and adds friction, and then the pulley doesn't spin the opposite direction, and so it'll actually add friction to the system as well. So what I found is that even fairly large 200-pound branches, it's rated for 120 kilograms, so easily one guy can easily hold a 200-pound branch, and 2 guys can tip lift a 200-pound branch. And so it works out great for those types of situations. You don't need any other hardware in the whole system, which is really cool. The other thing is, if you've got a porta wrap down below and a guy knows how to use the tensioning technique with the porta wrap, where you pull the line out and then suck in the slack, one guy can actually generate a huge amount of force. And so with fairly simple, low, very little rigging, a guy can actually do quite a bit of work with this simple device as the tie-in point. So it's not rated for a whole lot of weight. The minimum braking strength is 30 kilonewtons, which is about 6,000 pounds. Which is plenty for if you're taking 10% of that, 600 pounds. Probably shouldn't be rigging more than 600 pounds on this, and you'll have to use a porta wrap to lower that effectively. But it does work brilliantly at that. The only issue I've had with this is that, number one, it's only one level of friction, so it's not really adjustable. The porta wrap solves that problem, or some other way, even taking half a wrap around the tree can make a big difference. And then trying to get the slack. So once the branch has been disconnected and the climber pulls the rope back up, or the groundie pulls the rope back up to the climber, excuse me, if I, as the climber, need to pull out more slack, I can find it rather difficult. And I found, especially where I'm using a 13mm rope, which is the biggest this is rated for, it tends to have even more friction. It's a little bit easier with a slightly smaller rope, more like a standard climb rope that's been retired to rigging use, or 11 or 12mm. It doesn't have this issue quite as much, but it does add quite a bit of friction. So if you have to pull slack out on the working side, it can be a little bit difficult, especially if the tail is caught on anything. So that would be the only downside I see. It's got slightly sharp edges too, perhaps, so you got to be a little bit careful with how it's mounted. You wouldn't want it pinched off at some crazy angle. You wouldn't want the rope to be pulled out to the side like that real hard. But on the working end, it's made to stay in alignment because of that wrench, so it should mostly solve that problem. So all in all, great piece of kit. Love it, use it frequently. It's one of my more recent additions, but I couldn't be happier with it. So thank you guys at ISC and Singing Tree. Kevin Bingham, appreciate the work you guys do. Check it out. I'll have a link down below and on my website at stridertreegear.com. If you got any gear that you want me to review, you have any comments, just leave them below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. I appreciate it. Thank you guys, and catch you next time.